Here.
Okay.
All right, you're on.
So what we have here is the patient consultation application developed with a Microsoft Surface by Infusion Development. The idea of this is that a patient and a doctor will sit opposite the Surface. They'll log in to both their Microsoft Amalga and Microsoft HealthVault accounts and be able to share and collaborate on the data that they have. So we'll take the two cards here, move them onto the Surface. The doctor and the patient will now be logging in. Little cute animation we have here, and then you see beside the tags HealthVault and Amalga logos just to really solidify where the information is coming from. So what we have here is this little story we try to tell with this. Iris Macklin is a 40-something-year-old woman. She's pregnant and she's been diagnosed with preeclampsia. So the information we have here, we have a variety of images, and as the doctor, I want to discuss this with Iris, explain to her, oh yes, your chest x-ray is absolutely fine, there's no complications from that, she can take it, look at it herself, feel, like empowered and actually agree with the doctor, not be just sitting there being told, this is that and this is that. So, we have her x-ray, it's fine. We can then go over to some other images we have stored, for example, an EKG. I can pull it out, size it, show it to the patient, once again explain to her, here's the information, looks absolutely fine, we have no complications from that. A year ago she had a CT scan, we can pull that out. As you see here, it's loading up all the images. There's 45 slides from the CT scan visible. I can control the frames per second it will animate through. So for example here it's at 1. If I just start playing, it'll go frame a second. I can move it up to 30. Play, and it'll quickly animate through the CT scan. If the doctor knows there's a certain point that the patient needs to look at, for example, they can put their finger down, move to say frame 18, say if you point out a specific point on the CT scan, and then go back and forth between a couple of slides to really highlight the problem. But in Iris's case, she's absolutely fine, so we'll just dismiss that. We'll move on to documents here. These are a variety of lab results that we have from Iris. We can pull out multiple ones, have them on top of each other, sizing them. It's just default Microsoft Surface behavior. So I can expand them up. Once again, we can communicate. I can explain to her what they say. Convince her that they're absolutely regular. She's has no problems. We'll close those documents, and then we'll move on to medication. So because she has been diagnosed with preeclampsia, just as a precautionary measure, we like to give her some medication. So I can take this, explain to her, why we're giving her this medication, and then drag it over to her HealthVault account. And now, if you go to medication here, you'll see that it's appeared there, and the blue and green trim now signifies that both the patient and the doctor have this information. So now that when the patient walks away from the Surface here, goes home, they can log into their personal HealthVault account and see information about this medicine that the doctor, told them about, and they can feel confident and actually then go and learn more about it. Because half the time when you leave the doctor's office, what you just heard can be so jarring that half the information didn't actually sink in. But here you have it all, actual electronic form. You can then learn more about it, which as we're becoming a more technologically, advanced society, people just want to actually kind of be more enveloped with what's going on with them, and so they like to know what's wrong and then go and do more research about it. It's not that they don't trust the doctor, but they feel better when they just do it on their own time. So that's the medication. If we want, we can also have rich media here. We have a bunch of sample videos. Here's a video of the latest ultrasound we took. Just to show her that her baby is totally healthy. It's sucking its thumb, you can see its head, heart beating, and if you want also too, we can control, the position in the video. So we've had videos where there's like 3 minutes in length, some surgery being done. We could go through with the patient, show them exactly what was being done at that time. Once again, just to give them that rich experience, because we find that if I'm just sitting here talking to you, throwing out mass amounts of paper, explaining to you what the lab results say, you don't form those very vivid memories as if you're actually playing with it. Like when you start playing with an image on the Surface, when you're going home again, that experience will come back to you, not sitting there across from the doctor, being given all this information and just being kind of awestruck by what's going on. This creates a more vivid memory that the person will then actually be able to bond to and remember what actually was told to them when they leave the doctor's office. So if we continue on here, even though everything seems to be fine, we've given her some medication as a precautionary measure, there's definitely still some educational stuff we'd like to provide her with. So labor induction is a very common thing that can happen with a preeclampsia patient. So we want to give her this, we go over this doctrine with her, explain what it says, explain what she can expect, and then instead of just, I get to keep this because I'm the doctor, I can easily just take it, drag it over. Digital copy has been made in her Health Vault account. She goes home, she can read about that on her own time. And we can do the same thing with this document on preeclampsia. And the great thing about this document is that while that other one was a strict image file, this is actually a XPS document that you can then thumb through. Or if you wanted to, you can navigate to a specific page. Once again, I'll move it over into her Health Vault account. And there we go. She now has a bunch of information that she couldn't possibly have taken home before. She feels more empowered by this experience and is just more confident in what her doctor has just told her. Now we actually have this other cool educational tool we like to show off. We have the Vitruvian Man here in the upper right hand corner, and when I tapped on him, it brings a 3D model into the focus here. So I can just rotate it around. We actually have the ability to zoom in with this because it's just a 3D model. Zooming in and out is a base functionality of it. We just didn't have a high enough resolution model for this, for the conference. But I can easily just rotate him around. I can point out specific parts of the body. Also, the interesting thing about this is that there's obviously multiple layers to the body. So we have an exterior shot, cardiovascular, the circulatory system, the nervous system, organs, skeletal structure. We can iterate through all of that, and then it's another way to empower the patient and actually show them where the problem is. So yeah, it's one of those. That's just the main thing we're trying to get across with the application, is to instill confidence and empowerment in the patient. So if we pull off Iris, it will log the system out. And now I'm going to put down another patient, Alexander Bowe. Now, while Iris was diagnosed with preeclampsia, you realize, she got away pretty easy. She has absolutely no complications. She has a healthy baby, so everything's looking good for her. But for Alexander here, we're not so lucky. So in the same way, we have a variety of images associated with Alexander that's now been pulled from Amalga. So this is unique information to him. If I pull out the chest X-ray, we can look at that again. See, he has no problems. But if I pull out an EKG, sorry, that's not one. This EKG from 2003 shows problems, and if I move over farther, I can get some X-rays of his amputated finger there. Really screen this shot every time I see it. So, there's some images. Once again, we can throw them away back into Amalga. He also has a CT scan, and if I remember correctly, there are kidney stones that formed in Alexander, and looking at the doctor could do that whole go to the point of interest and then iterate through a very small portion and explain to the patient what's wrong with it.